What's the opposite of ASMR?
How do you gut someone?
Always trust my gut.
What does ASMR stand for?
Auditory, sensory, multi-resonance.
Autonomous sensory meridian response.
I got one word right.
It's a term used to describe a tingling, static-like, or goosebump sensation that some people experience in response to a specific visual or auditory stimuli.
I have the opposite effect when I hear certain stimuli. Like when I hear people picking at their cuticle beds on their fingernails, I cringe and I shudder inside. What's that called? I think that's called misophonia. Google, what is misophonia?
Misophonia, a strong negative reaction. Wow, good job.
Thank you. I hate hearing cuticle skin being picked at or like calluses being picked at. It's like a dull. That's okay. I don't mind that. That's kind of worse. Now pick your nails the other way. Ooh, yeah. Hey, that's awful. I hate that sound. Hello and welcome to Gutted. I'm Aleece.
And I'm Tony, and we're here to spill our guts about horror films. We have a very special episode for you. This one was actually a special request because we have told you in the past, if you request literally anything, we will cover it.
We'll get very excited that we have had a request and we'll cover it. So I believe a William Simmons on YouTube said, hey, can you cover Carnosaur 2? And we're like, yes, we can.
And not only are we going to cover Carnosaur 2, we're going to cover the entire trilogy.
Mostly 1 and 2. 3, I might gloss over 3 a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll talk about it. But if you're here for Carnosaur 3, I don't want to disappoint you. We'll talk about it probably minimally.
What's there to say?
Enough said. We have a reprisal of an actor, but not playing the same role. So we'll talk about...
No spoilers.
I'm not spoiling. I'm hinting.
Okay.
I'm hinting, teasing
Foreshadowing.
it out.
Okay. This episode will be a Spill Your Guts episode in 3 acts. We haven't done one of these in a while, so it is nice to do this format again. First, we will have a spoiler-free intro discussion of the Dino trilogy, followed by a spoiler-full gut spill of the film, and concluding with our coveted award ceremony.
Starting with our spoiler-free intro discussion, Tony, when did you first hear about or see Carnosaur?
Okay, so Carnosaur is something that has only recently come onto my radar and might have a bit of a following as the other dinosaur movie that came out in 1993. But I have only heard of it in the last few months. One of my favorite podcasts, someone who we've had on the show, and also someone who we're always shouting out, Cradle to the Grave podcast with Eric Hansen and Stephen Bissett, his co-host. They have this running gag about Carnosaur where it always comes up in their conversation. So if you listen to, especially an episode where Stephen is co-hosting, it comes up almost always. And I was like, listening to the episodes and I was like, oh, I see that they covered Carnosaur in one of their episodes.
They not only covered it, but they actually had the director, Adam Simon, as a guest speaker on the episode.
Yeah, so that was really cool. And I listened to it and I was like, you know what? I want to see this movie now because hearing the director talk about it and, the Roger Corman, low budget. And then there's all these other things that were these connections to Jurassic Park, like Diane Ladd, who is the mother of Laura Dern from Jurassic Park. They both came out in 1993.
Yeah, so a lot of similarities.
Both based off of a novel, although Carnosaur came out before the Michael Crichton novel. So all these things, and I was like, what? Why have I not heard of this movie? And I need to watch this immediately. For those interested in watching Carnosaur 1 through 3, and there's also a 4 that's called Raptor, which we haven't seen yet.
We just discovered it right now. Like
just like
10 seconds ago.
just right now. These are all available completely free on YouTube.
And just a shout out, Cradle to the Graves podcast. I would highly recommend that episode or listening to that episode on Carnosaur if you want to hear all the really interesting behind the scenes details, because Adam Simon divulges so much and it's really interesting. Check it out if you want to hear the full interview.
Aleece, when did you first hear about Carnosaur? Did you hear about this before I recommended it?
I had heard about it before. I think I first saw it in video stores when I was a kid, and I thought, oh, that's low budget. I'm not going to watch that. So I, of course, with probably the masses, I ignored it for the higher budget Jurassic Park, which I'm a big fan of Jurassic Park and creature features.
Yeah.
So I'm disappointed in my young self for not checking out Carnosaur when I was younger. But to be fair, I was in 3rd grade and...
Yeah, why are you beating yourself up over that?
Because I didn't check it out. I checked out so many terrible horror movies when I was a kid, and for some reason I did not check out Carnosaur.
It's not like when you're a 3rd grader, like, I should be well versed in all of the dinosaur movies that came out in 1993.
But I love dinosaurs, so I should have. And anyway, I'm trying to make amends.
If you're
now.
a 3rd grader in the video rental store, you're just going like, Mommy, can you rent?
Mommy.
Yeah.
I was at least 8 years old. But I did watch like Turbulence 1, 2, and 3 as a kid. And for some reason, I rented the straight to video Turbulence 2 and 3.
But are these your full decisions? Hey, Mom, can we rent Turbulence 1, 2, and 3? Or is it like a group family decision? Because I know like when I went to the video store, it was always like, okay, everybody gets to pick one. And I'm always in the cartoon section when I'm that young. Like, or I want to watch like some slapstick comedy. That I rent the same thing over and over and over again. I mean,
I did rent Drop Dead Fred a fair amount of times.
Oh yeah, that was a huge rotation.
That was, yes, it was like every other time to Blockbuster, Drop Dead Fred. But I did like checking out the straight to video videos like Turbulence 2, or at the time when Jack Frost first came out, I was like, oh, that looks funny.
Well, I don't think that you need to beat yourself up over skipping over Carnosaur.
I skipped it.
I think even for those who watch a lot of movies, it's not like, oh, you got to go see Carnosaur. Now knowing that, it's like, yes, I think you should watch Carnosaur and Carnosaur 2 and 3. Why not? They're fun movies.
So we checked out Carnosaur 1. We had a great time watching it. Sorry, Mr. Simon, for not checking it out when I was in 3rd grade, but trying to make up for it now.
It's almost like fate had brought Carnosaur to us and to the podcast, because I had heard of it and I was like, let's check out this movie. It sounds ridiculous. It sounds like a fun watch. And then someone commented on a previous video and asked if we could cover Carnosaur 2.
I think because, when Jurassic World Rebirth came out, we shouted out Carnosaur and Eric's podcast during that episode.
Oh, okay.
So I think the listener, Mr. William Simmons, requested Carnosaur 2 as coverage, as to a movie to be covered, because I think we actually had mentioned Carnosaur.
Like, you want to know what's more ridiculous than Carnosaur? Carnosaur 2.
Or you want to know what's a better movie or more interesting to him? Carnosaur 2. It's kind of like the whole Alien versus Aliens debate. Which one's your favorite? I feel like a lot of people like Aliens over Alien, and I think that might be the case with Carnosaur. There might be like a big fan base of Carnosaur 2 people out there, and then there's the fan base of Carnosaur 1. So it's like there are these two camps. One
Where
versus
are
2.
all these Carnosaur fans? I have heard of one.
Well, now there's another one, a fan of Carnosaur. But now
you got 2 more right here.
Yes. And same thing with like Terminator and T2. It's like you have a whole camp of people that are like all for
T1
T2.
or T2?
T1 or T2? Which one?
If you're a T1 fan over T2, I've got a lot of questions to ask, but I also respect it.
I like T1.
But over T2?
I mean, I don't know.
That's a whole nother conversation.
Here nor there.
What were your expectations going into Carnosaur?
Expectations were probably low, minimal because not only were we getting into a low budget creature feature, but we're getting into a low budget creature feature from the 90s. So like when you had like even like less resources than you do now. However, because it was in the 90s, they weren't so quick to jump to computer generated graphics, which I think is an asset.
Everything is practical. Yeah.
Yes. So I think that actually gives it a bump that it's from the 90s and not from today.
Just to put it into perspective, Jurassic Park had like $125 million budget. This is quoted from
the episode.
Adam Simon. Yeah. $125 million budget versus a $500,000 to $600,000 budget. The amount that they're able to do with the budget that they had is actually pretty incredible.
Pretty impressive. And Adam Simon was saying in the interview with Cradle to the Grave that he was pretty upset with Roger Corman for a long time because he went on to primetime news channels with Connie Chung and said that they spent $5 million.
Which still doesn't sound like a lot for a movie, even at the time.
But if you spent $500,000 on a movie that you're claiming to have spent $5 million on, I could see Adam Simon being pretty upset if people are expecting a $5 million budget movie and they see a $500,000 budget movie and they're like, wow, what'd you spend the money on? Poor Adam Simon. But still, like with only like $500,000 to make Carnosaur, to make a creature feature with like giant dinosaur sized creatures.
Yeah. And miniatures and effects and explosions, all that sort of stuff.
And I'm not going to pretend to understand the behind the scenes aspects of creature making and special effects makeup, but I did watch a couple YouTube documentaries on Carnosaur and Carnosaur 2 and how they made the dinosaurs, like the large dinosaurs, wieldable, I guess.
Yeah, like giant puppets or something like that.
Giant puppets, yeah. So like they're
animatronics.
Okay, that's the thing is that the smaller ones are animatronic, but the really large dinosaur at the very end of Carnosaur, that's all made with like foam core, just like glued together foam core, and they used a soldering iron to make each individual scale of this dinosaur. I think it was John Carl Beekler or his assistant Tony Dublin was saying that this creature that should have weighed like a couple tons only weighed like 450 pounds. So little tidbits that I know minimal about, but I'm still impressed by.
Nice tidbit.
Thank you. Let's look at the posters. Carnosaur 1. The first Carnosaur.
There are a lot of quotes on this thing.
Lots of quotes. We have Diane Ladd, our star of the movie, thrice nominated for an Oscar, Diane Ladd, and Carnosaur. Our main Carnosaur, Deinonychus.
Is that not the T-Rex?
I think it's a Deinonychus that got really big.
Yeah, Aleece is going to get really technical on the dino terms.
I tried to research the dinosaurs that are portrayed in Carnosaur and Carnosaur 2. Apparently, according to like the Reddit forums, it's a Deinonychus. But
not a Velociraptor.
Not a Velociraptor, although a Deinonychus is a type of raptor.
Okay, so it goes deep. It goes much deeper than I think I can handle.
Anyway, it's a
I'm
dinosaur.
going to call them dinos.
It's
or
a
carnos.
dino. It's a Carnosaur. So our main Carnosaur, really big.
And it looks low budge. You know, those stop motion dinosaur. I think it's called like 1 million BC or something like that. Or the dinos in King Kong.
I think Adam Simon wanted some shots of stop motion dinosaurs and they didn't have the budget for it. So they had to scrap it.
That is surprising.
Yeah. Or no, I think John Carl Beekler wanted stop motion inserts and they didn't have the budget for it. So they had to scrap it.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Sometimes the stop motion looks a little
I do love stop
funky.
motion though. Stop motion's so creepy to me. I love puppets and stop motion creatures. Anyway, no stop motion. We have a big dino puppet and he's backlit and he's on top of a rocky boulder. And the quote at the bottom says, "Driven to extinction, back for revenge."
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what he's taking revenge on though.
Society.
The
world.
The
humanity.
world that snuffed them out too soon.
Exactly.
And lots of quotes. One of them from Gene Siskel says, "Thumbs up. Terrific. I liked this movie."
And also, like what we heard on Cradle to the Grave podcast is how Siskel actually gave it a thumbs up and Ebert, they debated this is the worst movie ever made versus giving it a thumbs up. Great things are happening when an audience is divided like that.
Yeah. But I do love a lot of Siskel's reasons for giving it a thumbs up was Diane Ladd's performance. He just loved that she was such a sinister mad scientist. And I agree with him. You don't get that too often where it's like a female mad scientist. She has like the Frankenstein role and she's not over sexualized.
She's like a F all humans type of person.
She is a total misanthrope. She's like, humans are the worst. Let's get rid of them, including myself. I don't care. Let's give this world back to the dinosaurs. And so Siskel really loved her mad scientist performance. I agree with that. I thought that was really fun and quite a unique take on the whole Frankenstein scenario.
Yeah. So what do you think about this poster?
I like it. It's cute.
I think so too. I think it looks like you're in for a cheesy dino ride of a movie.
Yeah. Enough said. Cheesy dino. It's not overly complicated. In the second one,
Back for Another Bite. Carnosaur 2. I don't know. It looks like the same dinosaur from the first one, but just like in a different pose.
I feel like in Carnosaur 2, we actually did get two different types of dinosaurs. We had the Deinonychus and we had the T-Rex.
Yeah.
And they were very clear in separating the two dinosaurs. There was like, oh, the T-Rex is over there. Oh, the raptors are over there.
There's a lot of things that were scrapped in Carnosaur 2 that were plot points in Carnosaur 1. Maybe we'll get into that a little bit later.
So we have our big T-Rex. Her back is to us and it says, extinction is a thing of the past. The quote says, put Aliens and Jurassic Park in a blender and C2 is what you get.
Yep, that's exactly it. So I guess we don't need to talk about it. It's
basically Aliens and Jurassic Park in a blender.
How about Carnosaur 3?
Oh, this one's cute. So we have our T-Rex. It's a white poster. Our T-Rex popping through, slashing like Jack Torrance from The Shining. And it says Carnosaur 3, primal species, terror will never be extinct.
And it has some mid-90s Photoshop action going on here. Actually, you know, if I did a quick glance at this, I would think that it was an ad for Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
So they're really leaning into that dino fervor that came about after Jurassic Park came out in 93.
And really quick, I just want to pay homage to the French poster for Carnosaur 3 or Carnosaur 2.
Okay.
Here's the French poster for
I like
Carnosaur
this one.
2.
That's my favorite.
Exactly. Ils sont des retours plus féroces que jamais. Jamais?
You're pronouncing it, I think, like Spanish, but it's like, ils sont des retours plus féroces que
I never studied French.
I don't know. That was awful. I apologize to everyone who had to listen to that.
Well, we don't know what it says, but I think it's saying something to it the extent of dinosaurs are never extinct, right?
Sure, yeah.
They'll never say no.
This is easily my favorite poster because it's got
adorable.
all of the little...
The raptors.
Raptor dinos. What do you call them?
The Deinonychus raptors.
Deinonychus, and they're like plotting and they're ripping through the poster.
There's 4 of them. They're ripping through the red poster. They're having a good time. The leader's like, hey, hey. And the other two are like, huh.
They look extremely sinister. That's my favorite.
That is my favorite.
I'm getting a tattoo of this one.
Exactly. When I saw that and I saw that was not the Carnosaur 2 poster, I was very disappointed.
Gotta go to France.
This French copy, though, is on sale on Amazon for like $140.
Ooh, wow.
And I was like, oh man.
Okay, that is a great segue into the little thing that I was going to show you.
What?
We love physical media. We love collecting DVDs. Every once in a while for an out of print DVD, we will shell out top dollar, maybe not $150
Did you
for
just
one.
buy an out of print?
No, I'm sorry, I did not. Actually, I wanted you to guess, but now you kind of have a ballpark, so this might have like messed up
I want to guess.
my question.
I love guessing.
There is a rare out of print Carnosaur DVD trilogy box set that came out from New Horizons in 2001, and it is on sale on eBay for, and I want you to guess the price.
$150.
More.
$300.
More.
$502.
More.
Whoa. $722.
Less, for $599. When I was looking up, like, where can I find this? Is it online? Is it on a streaming site? And no, it wasn't on any streaming site. I was on eBay and I saw that. I was like, oh, these are really expensive because, you know, it's an out of print collector's thing. But then I saw this one for almost $600, the Carnosaur Collection DVD. I mean, no one has bought it, and that's just the asking price. That doesn't mean that anyone has bought it, I don't think, for that price.
So we can bid. We have a chance.
But I was just like, wow, $600 for the Carnosaur collection.
And I just want to correct myself. My French copy of Carnosaur 2 is only $102.
Only a mere $102 for one DVD.
But the cutest DVD cover. So worth it? I don't know.
So, or you could just watch it for free on YouTube, which is probably what most people will do, including me.
All right, we are going to move on to our discussion of Carnosaur 1, directed by Adam Simon from 1993. We will do a brief synopsis, just spoiling the first 2/3 of the movie. On a poultry plantation in the quiet town of Climax, Nevada, Dr. Jane Tiptree, played by Diane Ladd, has been researching something big and profound that will change civilization as we know it. And that discovery has just hatched. And a low-level chicken transporter is our first victim as he's slashed and gashed by something green and reptilian. Meanwhile, on a construction site not too far from our chicken facility, we meet our hero, Doc, played by Raphael Sbarge, who is actually not a doc at all, but rather a security guard drunkenly attempting to catch some animal rights activists. And he gets one, but doesn't press charges because she's cute, blonde, and has a cool name, Thrush. Well, it used to be Anne, but it's Thrush now. Although they can't deny the mutual attraction, Thrush lives with an environmentalist commune on the opposite side of the old dinosaur migration trail, and Doc is just following orders. Cut to a 20-something-year-old teenager sneaking out mid-morning to go joyriding with her boyfriend and no-name buddy. We see our trio speeding, drinking, and crushing dinosaur bones with such effervescent youthfulness to rival any Splode commercial from the 90s. The fun comes to an end, however, after an ill-timed pee break, and our three teens are chomped and gutted brutally by a mini Deinonychus, or raptor, for fans of that other dinosaur movie from 1993. At some point, Thrush decides she's mad at Doc and gets her commune buddies to chain themselves to all the Bobcat tractors outside of Doc's trailer. Doc storms off in a huff and heads to Jay's Diner, where all the locals, including Clint Howard, gather to chomp enthusiastically on chicken. Back at the construction site, our Deinonychus appears again and he's quadrupled in size. Within seconds, the well-meaning activists are all torn apart with the exception of Thrush. Doc discovers the massacre and a catatonic Thrush and has zero clue of what is about to happen. With a rising body count, a mysterious carnivorous creature, a crazed scientist, and murmurs of a fever targeting the female population, Doc might just be the only one left to save this little town of Climax from extinction. Carnosaur is directed by Adam Simon, who also did Brain Dead in 1990 and The Haunting in Connecticut, as well as the American Nightmare documentary.
It was adapted from the novel Carnosaur of the same title by John Brosnan.
And our setting is Climax, Nevada. I tried to look up this town. I don't think it's real.
It's somewhere
made
out.
up.
You can tell that it's like out in the middle of nowhere. You know, they got all the nuclear and military test sites and all that sort of stuff out in Nevada. So, you know, stuff is going on out there.
Stuff is going on, and dinosaur bones are still hanging out on top of the soil. But I just thought that was an interesting name. Like, why call it Climax? It was really confusing because throughout the movie, little script shows up at the bottom of the screen to tell us, okay, Climax, Nevada. Population infected, 0%. Population infected,
doesn't it
20%.
go in between DC and Nevada?
It does. We go back and forth between Nevada, where Jane Tiptree is conducting her experiments on the chicken population, and then back to the major corporation in DC, Unis Corporation.
They're like the people who are playing God
Yes.
with genetics and trying to come up with the next big thing.
Yeah, they're bioengineering something. Jane Tiptree has been left to her own devices in Climax, Nevada to kind of do whatever she wants.
Yeah.
So no one knows what she's been up to all these years.
What worked for you in this movie? What did not work for you? Tell me about your thoughts on Carnosaur.
My thoughts. I did enjoy Diane Ladd's character, Dr. Jane Tiptree. She had such an interesting quality about her when she was speaking to any other character in frame. She had a very soothing voice. After our favorite scene of the three teenagers going joyriding in the morning. First of all,
wait, that was your favorite scene too?
That was my favorite scene.
Okay, we'll talk about that in a second.
Yeah, these teens sneak out mid-morning and they're joyriding. Anyway, the daughter who snuck out, she dies, of course, and her dad is so distraught. He somehow makes it to the chicken plantation where Jane Tiptree is, and he's like, what are you going to do about my daughter being dead? And she's like, she's not dead. Come with me. And she's talking to him very soothingly. She's like, I don't even know what I would do if I was in your position. Your daughter's right this way through these tunnels. And so he's walking through these underground tunnels and then ends up in this cavern with weird strobing lights and a giant
It's like
dinosaur.
lasers that will slice you if you walk through the lasers.
Yeah. So she doesn't change her tone of voice while she's talking to him, even when he figures out, oh, his daughter's really not alive and she's not there and he's about to die. She's like, okay, I lied to you. Your daughter's not here, but you're going to serve a higher purpose. And she doesn't act more sinister. She doesn't act more evil, which I feel like we often get that when the evil mastermind reveals their plan, they suddenly become maniacal out of nowhere. She doesn't change her affect.
She's a stone cold extinctionist.
She's a stone cold extinctionist. And so I do appreciate that she doesn't change her demeanor from trying to hoodwink him to telling him that he's about to die. For the movie of Carnosaur, this feels like a realistic portrayal.
So you don't think that she phoned it in?
You know, she probably phoned it in like 40%.
But this is an Academy Award nominated.
Thrice nominated, yes.
I don't know if
actress.
she's actually won.
She hasn't won, but she was nominated for Alice Doesn't Live Here Anymore. Actually, the same movie that Ellen Burstyn did win for, Best Lead Actress. But she was nominated for Alice Doesn't Live Here Anymore, Ramblin' Rose, and Wild at Heart, which those last two she did perform with her daughter, Laura Dern.
Yeah, I did notice that she is in a lot of movies with her daughter. Didn't Laura Dern recently win an Academy Award?
She did. She won Best Supporting Actress for Marriage Story.
Wow, okay. This is a very decorated acting family.
Mm-hmm.
And she's doing this movie, Carnosaur, a Roger Corman film, who, you know, Roger Corman is known for these sort of low budget B movies.
Schlocky.
I had heard on this lovely podcast that we keep mentioning from Adam Simon, the reason why Diane Ladd agreed to do this movie is because she owed a favor to Roger Corman from
like decades ago.
Yeah.
I didn't quite understand the details on why she owed him a favor, but apparently she did. And he sat on this favor like an IOU for decades.
Yeah.
And finally, when he was finally making Carnosaur, he called her up and said, all right, Diane, this is the time. And she's probably like, damn it, this is the one?
Yeah.
Right.
And she gets to do an opposing dino movie while her daughter is making probably the best dinosaur movie ever that has ever come out. Yeah, perfect timing on that one.
Perfect timing. Like, man, Mr. Corman, what a mastermind.
Yeah.
What a patient mastermind.
She was one of the standouts in this movie. There was also the main lead. So there was Doc and Thrush. Great names, by the way. I know you especially like the name Thrush. It doesn't just sound like some cool 90s nickname.
I believe it's like an STD in the throat. That one might contract and it will infect your throat and be probably very irritating.
Okay, so I'm going to look it up. And it says it's known as oral candidiasis. Candidiasis.
Yeah.
Oral pharyngeal candidiasis. I can't even pronounce this. Is a fungal infection of the mouth and throat caused by an overgrowth of the yeast.
Yeah.
Candida.
It's basically a yeast infection in your throat.
That sounds disgusting.
And painful. And I don't know why Thrush, who used to be Anne, decided to elect the name of Thrush.
Because Anne is so boring. Just kidding.
Thrash.
Anne's not a boring name, but
Yeah,
I'm
how
just like,
dare
that's
you.
her inner dialogue.
Yeah. She's like, Anne is too simple. I want to be Thrush. But she should have changed the vowel. Like thrash would have been cool.
Thrash.
Or like even throsh. Throsh would have been way cooler. Thrish? I don't know. Like any other vowel sound would have been better than thrush.
For this security guard, Doc, who's played by...
Who's not a doctor.
Raphael Sabarge.
Confusing because for a while they're saying Doc. I thought they were talking about Dr. Jane Tiptree. And I was like, wait, so not the doctor. He's a security guard and we see him drinking immediately. We're like, oh no, he has issues of the past. What happened to him to bring him to this point? He's guarding a construction site that he also lives on. A lot of questions, but hey, I'm not here to nitpick at Carnosaur.
What I appreciated about it is that this movie was not afraid to not make these bold choices either with characters. So like Doc, he's just like a total drunk alcoholic and he's kind of abrasive. And then you have these environmentalist 90s style
They're like
activists. But the environmental activists of the 90s always had like some edge to them.
They're all lawyers. They're like, you want to complain, take it up with the lawyers. There's many of us here.
They all look like just like grungers or something,
Yeah.
like 90s grunge style.
I do love the scene when, for some reason, Thrush ends up mad at Doc, even though he just decided not to press charges for her vandalizing his construction site. He's like, no, I'm not going to press charges, blah, blah, blah. She's cute and blonde. And for some reason, at first she thinks it's cute, but then she gets mad at him for living there. And she gets all her buddies together and they chain themselves to the Bobcat tractors.
Yeah, because even though he's just following orders, it's like he's still complicit in the destruction of this land that used to be dinosaur migratorial land.
Yeah.
And that's what she cares about.
She wants to preserve it, preserve the dino trail, of course. And so they all chain themselves to the tractors. And that's when our Carnosaur has grown substantially in size.
Yeah. So throughout the movie, we are watching the progression of this dino, this Carnosaur, from like a little chicken size, and it kind of like goes back and forth. And I don't know if we're seeing multiple Carnosaurs or just one, but I assume that it's multiple because we start off with like a chicken size. And by the end of the movie, the Carnosaur is like a T-Rex size giant Carnosaur.
Yeah.
But we also see a bunch of like little baby Carnosaurs that are really super cute.
So cute. Second favorite scenes are of the baby Carnosaurs hatching out of the eggs.
Hatchlings, yeah.
And
And even the
moving all
one,
wiggly.
yeah. The Carnosaur in the first part of the movie is sort of like a chicken size.
You know what? Okay, now that I think about it, we actually do, like, for every attack, I think the Carnosaur is a different size. So the very first chicken transportation people that get attacked, they're attacked by like a tiny chicken size Carnosaur. And then the teenagers or the 20-something-year-old teenagers, they get attacked by like a teenage Carnosaur.
It looks like it's no larger than a turkey, I would say, because the dinosaur literally looked like a hand puppet on someone's hand.
That was cute,
and it was
though.
really fast and ferocious.
It was.
It was a cool scene.
It was gutting these teenagers out of their Jeep.
Yeah,
like
which we
ripping
still
their
need to talk about
intestines out.
that scene because that is my favorite scene.
That's a really important scene. Should we just talk about that scene?
Sure.
All right. Going to our favorite scene of the teenagers sneaking out mid-morning.
Okay, I need to tell you about this scene in Carnosaur. So it is my favorite scene. It is ridiculous, but I love that about it. Basically, it starts with this young teenager and she's sneaking out in the middle of the day. It seems like it should be night, but it's not. It's like
I think
afternoon.
it's like 8 a.m.
Yeah.
It's like early morning. Like the dad's awake. He's had his coffee. He's on the phone. And there's this like 24-year-old woman sneaking downstairs.
Probably supposed to play a teen, but
Probably
she looks a lot
teen.
older.
And she like quietly opens the door, watching her dad the whole time, and then jumps into the car with, I think, her boyfriend.
It's like a Jeep. It's like an off-roading Jeep.
Of course,
With
it's a Jeep.
with this like gang of 90s dudes. Like they look like very stereotypical like 90s grunger or like thrasher punks or
They are the thrashers. Yeah. There's 3 of them and they immediately start knocking about bottles of beer and they're laughing and hooting it up.
And I kept saying as we were watching this, I was like, this might be, okay, I'm not condoning this at all, but this might be the best drunk driving scene that I have ever seen. The best depiction of somebody
The most fun
driving
depiction,
drunk.
which we again are not condoning this,
Yeah.
but this scene looked like a lot of fun. And if there was a movie to peer pressure me, then I mean, it's probably still not this one.
And that's why you immediately went to like, this looks like a Splode commercial.
Right. I was like, I just feel like this is a Splode commercial.
What? I don't even remember what Splode was
my gosh.
advertising. I
Okay,
just remember it was,
Splode was a made-up energy beverage that a bunch of teenagers were drinking as they were jumping off a bridge, bungee jumping. They would jump off the bridge and like go all the way down to the bottom, grab a can of Splode and drink it and be like, yeah, this is awesome. And like the third or fourth person that jumps off the bridge
just explodes.
they get the Splode and they explode.
Yeah.
And then we get like a black screen that's like Splode.
But what was it advertising? It wasn't advertising Splode.
It was advertising not succumbing to peer pressure
Okay.
and taking drugs and drinking alcohol.
That's very 90s.
with
But
your
this
friends.
must have been like an early 2000s ad or like
No, it was like a 90s ad.
Are you sure? Because I didn't think that energy drinks existed at that time.
It was kind of like in the vein of like Mountain Dew.
The actors in the scene look like they're straight out of a Do the Do.
Exactly. It looks like a Do the Do
Or
commercial.
Splurge.
Exactly. So it's like a splurge, do the do, but explode. And I just expected them to like explode at any minute.
That is ridiculous.
Because they're drunk driving. Anyway, they don't explode, they get gutted by a Deinonychus, which is just as appropriate.
I have to see when this Splode commercial came out.
It's like my favorite commercial from the
Okay,
90s.
this came out in 2000, okay?
It was barely not the 90s. 2000 was basically the 90s.
But it looks like it fits right in the 90s.
It does.
Yeah.
So Splode is like 90s adjacent. It's barely out of the time frame.
But anyways, going back to the scene, it's like you're going through it and it's like, whoa, this is a pretty wild drunk driving in the middle of the day scene, back roading on a Jeep.
They're
and then
crushing dinosaur skulls.
They at one point they like skid, they come to like a halting stop where the Jeep kind of like skids out and they come right to the edge of a cliff.
They
and they're
almost
laughing it
the
off
cliff.
like, whoa, wait, I'd love to see the instant replay on that. They get out and then that's when someone has to pee. That's always, the cue that somebody's about to die.
Yeah.
And then
Never pee.
the Carnosaur gets them. And it's a really cool scene actually, like, for the horror part of it, because it is gruesome. And I'm like, okay, this is what Carnosaur has to offer. It's like it has the dinosaur genetic mutation and the big corporate subplot, evil entity, but it's like super gruesome and gory. So in comparison to Jurassic Park, which is more about like wonder and
it was awesome Jurassic Park and its, grand dinosaurs.
Yeah.
And it did have some gory scenes. I would say Jurassic Park had more jump scares, whereas Carnosaur has more guts.
Yeah. And this one's just like a straight up, almost like a slasher movie.
And I think what they can't show, they show in Carnosaur POV. So it's kind of like obscured, fish-eyed, saturated vision of the Carnosaur as it comes running at you. And then you see like the little head like chomping on your insides.
Yeah.
So,
but a really fun movie. There's a couple other things to mention about the movie. It also stars a little small part by Clint Howard.
Yeah, he's probably like the best depiction of chomping on chicken in the movie.
There's a lot of just like eating fried chicken in this movie.
Everybody's eating chicken.
Talking about like some sort of genetic mutation. We use chickens, and it's kind of like a gross out scene or something, straight into like someone eating some fried chicken.
And it's usually Clint Howard chomping on the chicken. He chomps on chicken in every single one of his scenes, I think. And he has a scene in the diner where he is like, he's just like masterfully chomping on his chicken legs. And he's telling this pregnant woman and her husband about how like, oh yeah, people that, anyway, it's not a good story, but he grosses everyone out. And I think they have everyone eating various forms of chicken, like chicken salad, chicken sandwich, or just straight up fried chicken to show that everyone in town is gonna get infected. So now we are deep into spoilers for this movie. So before was just like a precursor, but now we're definitely gonna divulge the rest.
Okay, so the thing about Carnosaur that really made it stand out for me was how dark it got.
It's very dark.
So, it starts out with like this mutated dino that has escaped the lab, is like running amok. And then it quickly becomes like this genetic mutation is a planned virus for the extinction of the human race.
Yeah. And I do think that's so interesting that like we don't just have a dinosaur running rampant, gutting people. We also have this infection that's spreading quickly.
It's like a doomsday plot.
Yeah.
So Dr. Jane Tiptree, she has this plan to give dinosaurs the land back, their rightful land, because she believes that people are the source of the earth being trashed, basically.
Yeah. What has man really ever done? The human species is a disaster. Gotta be stopped.
So it's up to her to infect the population with this genetic virus that affects women.
Yeah, it gives them all fevers. And I do think this is a really cool part of the movie. I love in like zombie movies where we hear murmurs of an infection or a virus spreading. And this is what's happening in Carnosaur at the diner, especially. People are like, oh, I feel sick, or I have a fever. Or we see the sheriff's wife. She's like, oh, I have a fever. He's like, you too? And the doctor in town is like, oh yeah, everyone has a fever, or every woman has a fever. So it's this slow murmuring of of all the females are getting fevers, and the doctor in town, his office is overflowing with women who are pregnant or who are just ill. I love that virus aspect of the movie. It's very different than Jurassic Park.
Yeah. So then that is revealed that the virus impregnates women to birth the Carnosaurs.
Just one egg at a time.
And they die on birth
Right
because, you
after.
know, these eggs are like ostrich-sized eggs.
They just rip the female open and she dies during childbirth or during dino birth.
So it quickly, you're just like, what the fuck is going on in this movie?
Yeah. And then we get another very sinister element that's so dark. We have the waitress of the diner. She has a fever. So her coworker is trying to drive her out of town. And they come to a roadblock with all these military men in yellow hazmat suits. And they quickly cart off the waitress. And the guy's like, okay, well, I'm just going to go back to town now. And they're like, no, come with me, sir. And they do an aerial shot. And the hazmat suit guys, they blow them away with machine guns.
Yeah. So we're just like, what the hell's going on here?
When that happened, that's my jaw dropped open. I was like, whoa.
So does that mean that Dr. Tiptree has gone rogue from the military and they're trying to actually stop her plan?
They're trying to correct what she's doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we have two different evil forces that are thinking differently on this matter.
And they're on some crazy quarantine cleanup kind of mission.
And so we get like Tony's favorite scenario is just like nuking the town. I mean, they're not nuking the town, but they are just, they're decimating and using flamethrowers and getting rid of all the evidence and all the virus.
A shocking final scene, which I will not spoil, but...
Should we not spoil it?
Or should we spoil it?
I do kind of want to talk about this last scene.
Okay, let's talk about the last scene.
Doc, he has to go get an antidote or something or an anti-serum for Thrush because Thrush has been infected. After her entire team of environmentalists are ripped apart, people's legs are ripped off, heads are bitten off, but Thrush is left unscathed, however shocked and feverish. So Doc's like, well, I have to go help her and I'm the only one to do it. And the sheriff, for some reason, is pinning all these murders on me, which I don't understand that part. But
it makes sense because he's in the proximity of where a lot of people have been attacked.
He is there, so he is the one to blame, and no one's going to believe Giant Dinosaur did it. So he's like, well, I have to go fix this. And so he goes to Dr. Jane Tiptree's lab. At gunpoint, it was like, get me the anti-serum. She's like, okay, but you're not going to stop this. She gives him the anti-serum, and right after he gets it, she starts to feel feverish. But she's not even sad about it. She's not like, oh, I got to go get the serum. Like, because she has every opportunity to like go after Doc and get the serum back.
Did they only make one bottle of serum?
I guess she only made one bottle of serum.
It's like a just in case, like she wanted to take it?
I don't know. For some reason, they always have an anti-serum. But she makes no effort to go after Doc to get the serum. In fact, she like welcomes this birth that she knows is going to kill her. She doesn't just birth out the egg. She rips open her gut with her bare hands and gives
so
herself
crazy.
a cesarean to let this dino out. And it's kind of cute.
The dino's cute, not the
not the
self-cesarean.
scenario, but it's like an alien style.
It's like wiggling on the floor. It's like,
beep, 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 beep.
yeah.
It's so cute, these little tiny dinosaurs. Then she looks at it and dies with gratitude. Back to Doc. He gets back to his trailer. He gives Thrush the serum. She comes to, and then our major final Carnosaur comes. And we get our nice Bobcat tractor versus Carnosaur battle. After like 10 minutes of that, everything's done. And Doc is like, we did it. We made it. The cavalry's coming to help us. And the yellow hazmat military dudes come bursting in. They blast Doc with a rifle, several shots of a rifle or semi-automatic or whatever. After they riddle him with bullets, they get their flamethrowers and they set the whole place ablaze.
Scorched earth. That's what I was that's what I was trying to think of earlier.
Yes. And then the credits go backwards.
It ends on like Alfred B. Newman or something from Mad Magazine.
The Mad Magazine character.
That was kind of curious. Like, is that like a troll? They're like trolling everybody.
And it says, me worry?
Me worry? Yeah. And it's like burning up and then the credits roll through that image. That was kind of a head scratcher. It's Alfred E. Newman, not B.
Alfred
Newman.
E. Newman.
Yeah.
He seems almost like in response to like Howdy Doody, you know, like a Dennis the Menace meets Howdy Doody. Anyway, I don't really know the history of Alfred E. Newman, but I do recognize the face and his little quote that says, what, me worry? burn into flames, into oblivion, and then we get our credits.
Yeah, and that scene kind of just happened so abruptly where it's you're just like, what the fuck is going on?
Thrush doesn't even wake up to see what's going on. She just dies. I have a theory that the actress actually was not there. They just had a blonde wig on the table.
Absolutely ridiculous, but
ridiculous
in all
and brutal.
the wonderful ways. There was a lot of great stuff happening, especially like for horror fans. It was very gory, a lot of people getting impaled or getting their heads bitten off, all of that good stuff.
We have our mad scientist, which I always appreciate when our villain is portrayed by a woman, especially a woman of mature years.
So a lot of great things going on in this movie. I can see why it's a cult classic. For the budget that they had, they really did a great job with the creature effects. A lot of times the Carnosaurs themselves did look like hand puppets, or like more so in the second one than this one, but like someone walking in a dinosaur suit.
Okay, the third one I think was literally a person.
The third one was awful for that.
The third one definitely had like a person in a dino suit, and I think their pants were falling down constantly.
But you mentioned that the monster creator was
John Carl Buechler. He died in 2019, but he is the designer of the Ghoulies and Ghoulies. He's also the troll creator and writer-director of the movie Troll.
Nice. I love all of those movies.
I was watching an interview of Anthony Dublin. He could see in the trade papers in the early 90s, like, okay, the dinosaur movies were coming out. And he knew he had no chance on getting on the set of Jurassic Park. But he knew John Carl Buechler and called him up and was like, I got to get on a dinosaur movie. And so he was hired to work on Carnosaur and was quite excited about that. He did mention that, like, yeah, they worked with very little. They had this whole idea of doing like stop motion for the dinosaurs, but couldn't get the budget.
I mean, they did a lot with what they had.
They did. They did so much. And just like watching him painstakingly make scales on this foam core for the big dinosaur at the end. Such tedious effort.
These days, it would have been a piss poor CGI dinosaur.
Yeah.
One thing about like pre-CGI low budget is that you had to be extremely scrappy. I think that scrappiness leads to creativity in a lot of ways. And yeah, it doesn't look as good as Jurassic Park, but what does? I mean, I feel like a lot of movies these days that have really expensive CGI in it don't look as good
Park
as Jurassic
sequels
Park.
That don't look as good as Jurassic Park.
The last Jurassic Park sequel.
Wasn't quite a fan of the last one that came out, but I feel like it's hard for stuff to even stand up to Jurassic Park, even within its own franchise.
Yeah. Carnosaur came out the same year that Jurassic Park came out, and we did touch on this a little bit. How is it that there are all these coincidences of Carnosaur coming out the same year as Jurassic Park, and it stars the mother of the star of Jurassic Park, and all this stuff. And I'm wondering if Roger Corman caught wind of Jurassic Park coming out and was like, I quickly have to make a movie and get it out before Jurassic Park comes out, to kind of like ride the buzz of that. Like, you want to see a dinosaur movie? Here's a dinosaur movie.
Yeah. And in the Connie Chung interview, he was very calmly saying like, oh yeah, the book that Carnosaur is based off of came out before Michael Crichton's book. That's okay though. He's a very stand-up citizen, so I don't fault him for that. And so
fault like Michael Crichton for ripping off
Carnosaur.
Yeah. So I always thought that was interesting, but that happens a lot in movies. I'm thinking of like Dante's Peak and Volcano,
or Ants versus A Bug's Life,
Carnosaur, and Jurassic Park. So another one we could add. I absolutely loved it. It is definitely a low budget film, so you do have to look past some of the effects, some of the like schlockiness. I want to give Carnosaur some awards.
It needs some awards.
So normally we do all of the awards at the end, but since we're covering 3 movies, well, let's do a little mini award ceremony here.
Okay, what would you give the axe? Nothing.
I was actually writing these down as I was watching the film for the second time.
I wrote down nothing. So
you just have to go on the fly, or just agree with me.
Nah.
I gave my axe award to the soundtrack. It's like that B movie soundtrack. There were moments that were okay, like, moments of action and stuff. But one of the things that I think is hard for me for a lot of B movies, I don't know if it's like a stock soundtrack, but it's almost lulling and
It's so
puts
lulling.
me to
Yeah.
sleep a little bit.
That's my complaint about I think it's a Demonic Toys franchise.
Yeah.
They use
anything from Full Moon.
Yeah, they use a
uses
very
this.
similar soundtrack throughout
Probably the same
films.
soundtracks.
And I do find it so lulling. And I think I have given the axe to a soundtrack like that in the past. So in this instance, I will agree with you.
Yeah.
I'll give it to the score.
And then moving on to our best intestines for Carnosaur, I gave it to Doc getting blasted because I thought it was the most
shocking.
I should add Doc and Thrush, although Thrush like wasn't really in the scene so much.
her hair
She was
in
like
the
sleeping.
scene. She was sleeping under a heavy blanket. So I don't think
Pregnant,
she was there.
infected by
Pregnant and
genetic
infected.
pregnancy. It is like the Night of the Living Dead kind of thing where it's like your heroes survive the night.
They beat a giant dinosaur with a bobcat. And they think the cavalry is coming to save them and get them out of there. And they're just blasted and incinerated into oblivion.
Let it be a lesson learned. Never trust the people in hazmat suits.
Definitely don't
As
trust
I learned
hazmat
from
suiters
E.T.
or the crazies.
Okay, my second kidney award for Carnosaur won the character alive or dead who gets to come back for a prequel, a spin-off, or a sequel, Sheriff Fowler, who is our lovable sheriff who meets his untimely demise after discovering that like his wife and daughter are infected and then also like cracking some nasty ass eggs that have carnosaurs in them.
Yes, he was trying to make an omelet and he cracked some eggs that had like greenish black sludge and one of them had a live baby dinosaur. And it was the cutest scene, just wiggling back and forth like boop, 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 boop.
Yeah. So he's out, he gets a call to go investigate some other stuff.
There's like havoc at the toy or the pet store, and he starts to realize, okay, this is not done by Doc, who I initially accused.
Yeah, he gets a dino claw through the stomach and he dies, but I'm going to give him the second kidney. He seemed like a good dude.
Good dude.
So, you know, maybe it's like Sheriff's Adventures and he...
Sheriff's Adventures.
Yeah, he survives and he's like hunting down dinos.
And he makes it to that facility in part 2.
Yeah, maybe it's like a revenge thing where it's like the dinos
took
were
my daughter
responsible
and
for
wife.
for wife and daughter dying.
Yeah.
I just thought he was a good dude.
He was a good dude. I like that. I'm going to give my second kidney award to the Deinonychus.
To the dinos.
The dinos, which...
But they did get it.
They did. So I got my wish.
Okay, perfect.
So, yeah, I'm happy with my decision.
Aleece is pro dino. She is just like Dr. Jane Tiptree.
Dr. Jane Tiptree. Yes, I'm following in her footsteps and we're going to bring back dinos. Because what has man really ever done? The human species is a disaster.
Okay, my first aid kit. This is the award for the character that we would bring back to life. So character that got offed. It is actually going to Thrush and Doc because what the hell?
Yeah.
Why did they deserve to die?
So brutal.
Yeah.
I'm just going to give it to Doc. I mean, I can't give it to both of them. That's not fair. That's cheating. So I'm just
I
going
just
to give
want
it
them
to Doc.
to like ride off into the sunset. And maybe they have to care for their newly
Their
born
baby
dino
dinosaur?
baby. Yeah.
Like
So-
she doesn't die because she took the serum. She still had to give birth, but maybe it was a smaller dinosaur.
Yeah.
And maybe its growth gets stunted. So it won't get the size of like the Carnosaur in the poster.
Yeah.
Just be like a modest little baby dinosaur, like Blue in Jurassic Park.
Exactly. Yeah.
So then we have our continuation with like the similarities of the Jurassic Park versus Carnosaur franchises.
I was thinking of like she gets separated from the dino baby and then it's like a homeward bound kind of thing.
Oh, and
Where the dino's like trying to find Thrush and
Mommy
Doc.
Thrush.
Yeah.
Daddy Doc.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cute.
So actually that sounded like a second kidney award, but yeah.
That is a bit of a second kidney.
So Doc and Thrush, I didn't think they deserved to be done dirty like that.
Yeah. I was kind of shocked that Thrush made it past the initial Carnosaur attack.
So you're just giving it to Doc.
I'm just going to give it to Doc.
All right.
That way he can be more tortured because obviously he's already trying to get over some tortured past. And now he's going to be even more tortured.
Is he going to be like a single dad dino father?
Like Thrush still gave birth to a dino?
Yeah.
Yes. This turns into one man and a baby dino.
Perfect. Our Silver Spleen Award for the thing or element of the movie that was the second best thing about the movie. I gave my silver, is it the silver spleen?
Silver gut.
We're calling it the silver gut now?
Yeah, well.
Okay, I gave my silver gut award to the drunk driving scene. Once again, not condoning this behavior, but the scene was very pleasurable for me to watch. I laughed my ass off and I thought it made drunk driving, not condoning, look fun.
Yeah, it did look exciting.
They did end up dying. So, you know, they were probably going to die from crashing anyway.
Yeah.
So.
My silver gut is going to the cute baby dinosaur egg cracking scene. So
the one that's like wiggling on the floor.
Yes, when the sheriff cracks the egg and it falls on the floor and there's a baby dinosaur in the goo and it's like wiggling back and forth. Adorable. I could rewatch that scene at least 3 times. So yeah, it goes to that scene with the sheriff and the baby dinosaur.
I love that. That is a great silver gut award.
Thank you.
Okay, and now for our final golden gut, our coveted golden gut, I am giving it to, drum roll, you could probably guess, giving it to the dinos.
The dinos.
To the Carnosaurs. They were cute, they were scary, they were ferocious, they were scrappy.
Yeah.
Just like the movie, and that's what I love about them. That's what I love about the movie.
Yeah, I'm kind of doing the same thing. I'm giving it to the whole monster and creature and special effects team for doing a lot with very little, and mostly because I watched that little documentary on YouTube of Tony Dublin and John Carl Beekler. I was like, whoa! They like went to Toys R Us and bought a little skateboard and put a little mini bobcat on it and had a little tiny mini battle. It looked impressive, and just watching them painstakingly like solder iron scales into foam core the size of a dinosaur, a 16-foot dinosaur. And they were using like compressed air to pump into this lightweight 16-foot dinosaur to like make it move rather than use animatronics because that would have been way too heavy.
And they probably couldn't afford it.
They couldn't afford it.
So yeah, scrappy, like I was saying.
Scrappy filmmaking. So yeah, the whole creature and special effects team gets my golden gut.
Yeah, that was Carnosaur 1. It was an amazing watch. If you have not seen this film, check it out. It's free on YouTube.
Sorry for spoiling the end if you kept on watching, but you knew what you were getting into. All right. And now on to the main event for our YouTuber listener.
If you managed to get through Carnosaur 1 and you thoroughly enjoyed it, then I would recommend watching Carnosaur 2.
If you're a fan of both Alien and Aliens, you have to watch Carnosaur and Carnosaur 2.
Which is funny that that's on the poster. It's like, yep, it's exactly what it is. This is a mashup of Jurassic Park and Aliens.
Which I didn't realize that was on the poster before we watched Carnosaur 2. I was like, oh, this is totally, it reminds me of like a whole Aliens versus Alien vibe.
There are some fun faces that are attached to this project, people who we love in the horror community. It wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be, which is not saying a lot, but it's also what I'm saying.
Okay, from what it sounds like, you're saying it was bad.
It was bad.
I don't think it was bad.
But comparatively when you have the mindset of them going into like a low budget B Roger Corman movie sequel.
If you are watching a sequel of a Roger Corman movie, then you know what you're getting into. And so I would say by that standard, it's not bad. It's actually pretty enjoyable. If you like,
that's what I'm saying, relatively.
If you enjoyed watching whatever came on the Sci-Fi Channel in the 90s and this happened to be on, you'd be like, whoa, that's kind of fun.
Yeah, if your bread and butter is sci-fi, like midday movies.
Midday sci-fi in the 90s.
This is probably better than a lot of them, especially a lot of those like Mega Piranha versus
Mega Octopus.
Anaconda Shark or something like that. Like those are pretty awful. This is a lot better than that.
Yeah.
But it's also like not as good as The Lost World or Jurassic Park 3, you know?
Yeah, but now you're comparing it to like things that are on like, USA.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying comparatively, in the grand scheme of creature features, it's not necessarily good. Some might think that it's good. And actually, I think that some people enjoy Carnosaur 2 more than they enjoyed Carnosaur 1.
Exactly.
They're
just
probably
like
fans of Aliens.
Alien versus Aliens debate.
It's the Alien versus Aliens debate.
Exactly.
Carnosaur 2 versus Carnosaur 1.
All right.
And we're going to settle this right now.
Well, let's get into our synopsis.
Okay. So for the synopsis, for Carnosaur 1, Aleece wrote that synopsis. I wrote the synopsis for Carnosaur 2. It's not as good.
I want no credit for that first one.
It's not as good. I cannot claim full authorship. I did borrow some of these lines from other people's synopses. Anyways, 2 months after Dr. Jane Tiptree's failed attempt to rid the Earth of humans and restore dinos to their prehistoric dominance, a horde of dinos have resurfaced at an isolated military outpost deep in the Yucca Mountains of Nevada. These genetically mutated dinos have slaughtered everyone in their path except for a teen named Jesse, who lives on the base with his uncle and passes the time by sneaking into supply rooms to play with sticks of TNT. In the aftermath of this gruesome event, military man Major John McQuaid is alerted to the failed systems and loss of communication with all personnel and quickly calls on the ragtag crew of military-grade engineers led by an eye patch-wearing Ben Kahane. The operation is overseen by the shifty McQuaid, but something seems off about his intentions. Flown in by hottie pilot Joan Galloway, the crew arrive to a deserted mine and move in to investigate. What they find is more than they bargained for. Mutated dinosaurs run amok. After finding the young Jesse being attacked by dinos, losing half their crew, including the helicopter and helicopter pilot, and desperately trying to crash the system to alert a military rescue, they must face not only many ferocious carnosaurs, but the secret that McQuaid has been hiding. The mine is loaded with nukes.
Tony's favorite scenario.
Yes, it's a dream scenario.
He loves nukes.
I didn't know that they were engineers.
Yeah.
They're like a repair crew.
They're a repair crew. Yeah. Because after the initial attack in the beginning, where young Jesse's uncle and the rest of the compound are decimated or just like obliterated by all these dinos, Major Tom McQuaid, played by Cliff DeYoung, gets word that something is amiss at this military compound. So he goes and sends this repair crew to fix stuff. The repair crew doesn't know what's going on. Kahane's like, whatever, we're just gonna go in and fix it and get out.
They just take the payday, you know, they don't ask too many questions about the gigs. And you could tell that Major Tom McQuaid was shifty the whole time.
He's always like, it's on a need to know basis and you don't need to know. I love like meeting all the different people in the crew. We first meet John Savage's character, Jack Reed. He is like similar to Doc in that he has a drinking problem. He has a sordid past. What happened? We don't know yet. And then we meet this like, you know, badass Rollins, played by Arabella Holtzbach, and Monk, played by Rick Dean.
He's like the muscle.
The comedic muscle, talking about some tryst that he had the night before.
Yeah, he's kind of got a voice like one of those, like, I don't know, really raspy.
Sounds like Ernest P. Worrell.
Jim Varney.
He sounds like Jim Varney.
Not so much. I didn't get a Jim Varney. I got just kind of like a gristled old rabble rouser.
He sounds like Mater from the movie Cars.
But a little more gruff.
And we also get Moses, played by Miguel Nunez Jr., who we know as
Demon and Spider.
Demon and Spider.
Yeah, he didn't get a cool name like that in this movie.
Moses.
He's Moses, but he's got like this computer hacking skill.
Yeah. He's like the main IT guy.
Yeah.
Communications. He gets this cool setup when they get to their lab.
He's in like one of those Captain Kirk controller chairs.
Exactly.
Where he's operating everything from the computers that are attached to the chair.
Yeah. And we have our helicopter pilot played by Neith Hunter.
Yeah. So many familiar faces that we've seen in other great 90s and 80s horror movies.
Yeah.
Genre
So
films.
for Neith Hunter, most notably from Silent Night, Deadly Night, is it 3 or 4?
She's in 4 and I think briefly in 5.
5, right. So she's mostly in 4, and then she does have a little cameo in 5, the toy maker.
She's also like known as the hottie redhead in Born in East LA.
Oh,
so
really?
like I never knew who the actor was, but I'd seen Born in East LA growing up. It was like one of my childhood movies that I would watch over and over again.
Like, who's that redhead? It's Neith Hunter.
Well, I know the quotes. I could quote. She's like, my car. Like she's supposed to play like a French lady. And she has this like Peugeot that she's bringing into the auto mechanic, and everyone's like whiplashing their head as she walks by.
Because she is the hot redhead.
Yeah.
But I do like in this movie, she has more of like a badass role. Like she is attractive in this movie, but she's the helicopter pilot. She's
Right.
their only way in and out. And finally, we have Jesse, the young boy, played by Ryan Thomas Johnson. And he's the only one left over after the initial attack and massacre in the beginning. And he's kind of catatonic when they see him. Jack Reed is immediately taken with him because he's a young kid. And we find out later that Reed lost his kid.
Yeah, so that's the thing about like ragtag crews is they all come with their own stories and their own motives.
Characters.
And when it's done even decently well, it is interesting to see the dynamic of how the crew operates. Carnosaur 2 and Carnosaur 3, they're like both these crew-oriented ensemble casts, and it really works in Carnosaur 2. And it just does not work in Carnosaur 3, like at all.
Yeah, Carnosaur 3 was, I would say, a little bit of a misstep in that area. You could tell they were trying to go for the same feeling of the ragtag crew, but they had too many people and it didn't work. But in this one, it did. It was fun. It kind of reminded me of Starship Troopers, how you get that ragtag crew again in Starship Troopers. It's like classic 90s motley crew of characters.
So I would say that is the highlight of Carnosaur 2. Of course, we get some more dino action. The dinos are no longer the small chicken dinos. And there's a few things that they just like straight up scrapped from the first movie, which I thought was weird, but I was just like, whatever.
Yeah, there's no more chicken fever going around to all the female characters.
Yeah, and I think they maybe only briefly mentioned something about Carnosaur 1 in this movie.
They do say like a couple months ago, there was a scientist in Nevada that did something, and we had another research facility over here in the Yucca Mountains.
The military was supposed to come and eradicate all the Carnosaurs, but a couple kind of made it through.
Somebody always keeps something. Someone always
and they're
has
holding
that.
up in a uranium mine.
Classic Jurassic Park. At the end, we see that Dennis Nedry's can of Barbasol
Yeah.
gets like solidified for a later development, for a later movie.
Or you see like an egg at the end of the movie.
An egg at the end. Or like same thing in Terminator where it's like, okay, that arm gets picked up at the end. You can't get rid of it. Whenever man creates something, you can't fully eradicate it afterward. There's
Let
always
this be a lesson learned.
Exactly. Whatever you put on the internet will always be there.
Like this episode 101 of Gutted Horror Podcast.
Will always be there, maybe. Who knows?
What were some of your favorite scenes from Carnosaur 2?
Favorite scenes? I would say some shocking scenes. And now getting into some spoilers of Carnosaur 2. I was shocked at how quickly they killed 3 of the characters.
That pretty much like sets up the movie though. It's like they go to investigate.
Go to investigate to repair stuff. They start out with 8 people and they immediately go down to 5 after a time span of like 2 minutes.
Right.
Our leader of the repair people, Kahane, the eye patch guy, he's dragged into a hole and eaten by dinosaurs. And shortly after that, we go to our control room with Moses and Galloway, Neith Hunter. And Moses is face to face with a raptor, and his instinct is
to like box it, which is awesome.
I love this.
I actually was rooting for him to win.
I know. He's like, okay, I'm in this chair. There's no way out. I'm going to box you.
Yeah. But I do appreciate that he didn't get slashed in the face or something and then just is dead.
Yeah.
Which happens so much, and especially like B movies where someone just gets scratched.
It happens in Carnosaur 3, a character that you're introduced to who you think is going to be like a central supporting character. She's slashed in the face and they check her pulse and they're like, she's gone. I'm like, really? She got scratched in the face. She's gone?
Yeah. So a more appropriate scenario would be you get scratched and you get up and you're like, you know what? This is my only option is to box this
I'm gonna
dinosaur.
box you. And he does get a good death. Like he is scratched, he's punched, he punches back, he's thrown across the room, he's electrocuted, but that still doesn't kill him. I thought he was done after being electrocuted, but instead he's grabbed and pulled through the ceiling, and then we don't see him die. We just assume that he gets
dead. Like pulled up
by another dinosaur. Yeah. He gets a pretty good death, although too early, in my opinion. His death is at least exciting.
Neith Hunter's character, Galloway, then he's like, oh shit. And she just like books it straight to the helicopter. perfect instinct. So these are like things that you as an audience member watching the movie are like, get out of there, get out of there. They do the things that you would want them to do.
Yeah, she does. She books it. She doesn't cower. She doesn't cry or hide. She books it to the chopper, starts it, and she's not going to fly off on her own. She's yelling to the rest of her crew. She's like, come on, hurry up. So she's trying to wait for them.
Yeah.
But then she gets the Dennis Nedry.
There's a dinosaur in the helicopter, which is kind of ridiculous.
There's a raptor waiting for her behind her, pops up, grabs her, slashes her. She's like, ah! Her instinct is to fly the helicopter.
I think maybe she just had her hand on the stick,
maybe so.
Control stick.
I thought maybe she's trying to like kamikaze herself.
I think it's just one of those things where it's like you're holding onto it and you're like ready to go. And because you are killed, you like jerk back and it starts to fly. And
so she flies like a few feet into the air and they're like, where's she going? Why is she leaving us? And Monk is the only one who figures it out. He's like, it's in there.
Some of his lines are just like really funny.
He seems like exasperated. He's like, oh, the dinosaur's in there with her. And of course she crashes to the ground, which is probably the worst effect because
it's an obvious miniature.
It's an obvious miniature held together by like masking tape.
You can even see the floor like bend and bow a little bit as it exploded.
Yeah, and its tail breaks off and then it explodes. It jump cuts to an explosion.
But hey, we know what we're getting into.
We knew it. They worked with what they had.
Exactly.
That poor little mini chopper exploded, so now they're stranded.
Yeah, and so now the whole plot is like we need to be rescued. So the teen is like, I'm gonna crash the system and set off an alert so that the military can come looking for us.
Yeah.
It was kind of like
We didn't get it. We watched it twice and we finally were like, okay, he's just going to crash the system and that will send an automatic alert to the military to come help them.
And the other guys secured like the TNT. The teen is like, I know where there's some dynamite sticks. We can use that to like kill the raptor. So their idea is like, you know what, let's just blow this joint. And get out of here.
And McQuaid's being hella shady. He's like, no, you can't do that. Reed and Monk are like, whatever, dude, we're going to do it. This teen has the best idea and you have no other options. So Monk and Reed go to the depths of this facility. McQuaid follows them. And he's like, you can't do it. Finally, he tells Monk and Reed why they can't blow it up. And it's because they have nukes in the belly of the facility.
I was like, yes.
Nukes. And I turned to Tony. I was like, there you go.
Potato loves it too.
Potato loves the whole nuke scenario. But I do love it at this point. McQuaid stops trying to sabotage them and they all become on the same side. It does get to a certain point in movies where if you have one person that's constantly the naysayer and sabotaging you, you're like, oh, get rid of that person and kill them.
Yeah.
But they finally divulge why. They give him a reason. And you're like, okay, I get it. He's military. And he even says, you guys weren't on the need to know basis, but I'll tell you now. And then they all join forces.
I guess the thing is, like, if he had told them that it was a nuclear facility, they probably just wouldn't have taken the job. The dinos would have just kind of just been going about their
They would have just lived and thrived. Their life.
Do you think they would have stayed in that facility or do you think they would have tried to like venture out?
They eventually would have found a way.
So they would have made it to civilization.
Yeah. They would have made it in like a Jurassic Park 2 scenario.
Yeah.
So I totally understand why McQuaid did what he did. He had to like hoodwink them into going there in the first place and couldn't tell them about the nukes until they're ready to blow them up.
He was the weak link character in this entire movie.
I mean, there's always a weak link character, but you needed him, actually.
Yeah,
he was necessary to be that opposing force until we no longer needed him. We could just have the dinosaurs as the opposing force.
Yeah, him and Monk do end up doing like a self-sacrifice kind of thing.
They bond. And so at first, Monk's like, forget him, kill him, let him get eaten by dinosaurs. Reed's like, no, we can't do that. We have to bring him back to the base.
So he gets a semi-heroic end.
Yeah, he does. Monk and McQuaid and Reed are going to the depths and they're going to like try to take care of some booby traps that are just above the nukes, but booby traps that will blow up the raptors and keep them from getting into the main control center.
But at the same time, the raptors are smart, so they're figuring out how to dismantle these booby traps.
They're figuring it out because they're
You're like
raptors.
chomping on pipes.
I love that scene when the raptors are chomping on pipes.
Any scene of like a dinosaur chomping or just moving around is
moving with like a glazed look over their non-functioning eyeball.
So
I love
fun
it.
to watch.
Fun.
Yes, these are the things that excite us.
Before they self-sacrifice, though, we get one of the best death scenes where they're all in the control center together at some point. They get into an elevator because the dinosaurs are setting off the bombs. And in the elevator, poor Rollins is chomped by her arm and pulled up.
Her arm is just like chomped off, and it's a pretty good effect. It's like really gory.
It's
and
gooey.
All the little like
The
strings
tendons and everything are pulling.
Yeah.
And she's like, ah, it just rips her arm off.
I think, does she get her head bit off?
She gets her gut ripped open.
Oh, yeah, that's right. She gets eviscerated.
Yeah.
Yes. So, you know, we
first-
like that. We like a good gutting. Shit's going down, and then all, you know, they're sort of like dropping off like flies.
They're dropping like flies. And because they're in an elevator, the chomper raptors are chomping on the cables, and their elevator car gets sent down to the bottom of the elevator shaft. So now they're on level with the nukes and they have to find a way back up.
Near the end of the movie, there was a couple of cool scenes. There's this one stunt that John Savage actually did himself.
Yeah.
He's like falling down the shaft onto this pad, but there's all these pipes all over it. But that fall looks like it's like 4 stories up.
That fall was crazy, but I will say at this point, I was like, really? I was kind of like rolling my eyes because I wanted them to just get out by this point.
They're trying to get out and they keep
They're
getting
trying to
thwarted.
get out. And so at this point, Monk and McQuaid already self-sacrificed and they blow themselves up. We get the final oh shit from Monk, which was like his like tagline. The whole movie was like shit, shit, shit.
Yeah.
So he does his final oh shit and they blow up. Reed and Jesse get to the very top of the facility. They're about to get out. For some reason, Reed falls over the edge and plummets.
It's the
8
explosion
stories.
pushes him over.
Right. Some dino explosion.
That backwards fall is pretty nutty.
That
And
was crazy.
John Savage did that stunt himself.
Yeah, I think you read that he was possibly drunk at the time.
This must have come up from an interview or something. John Savage had mentioned that he was a little intoxicated during the filming of this movie. If he was more sober or clear of mind, he probably would not have done that stunt.
Probably not. That
But
looked
it's cool that
pretty
he did
crazy.
that stunt because that was very impressive.
It was.
Yeah.
Even watching, I was shocked. I was like, wow, that stuntman really fell. That's crazy. And then to hear that was him.
I don't know if it was the actual 4 stories because they might have spliced together like 2 separate falls
Yeah,
or
maybe
something.
so.
But it was still pretty intense.
But still annoying for the viewer because you're like, man, you were so close to getting out. And Jesse actually does run out because he hears the evac team coming. He's like, wait right here. There's somebody down below. Everybody else is dead. And the evac team is like, well, we're not going to wait. We give you 5 minutes. And I was thinking they flew all the way out there and we're only going to give him 5 minutes.
Hey, that's nice of them to wait.
It's like, but like, what were the odds that they would just be right there on the tarmac waiting for the evac team? Whatever. They're going to wait 5 minutes. So we get our time pressure. Jesse does make it all the way down, finds Reed. Reed's like, oh, my ribs are broken, but then starts walking fine.
His ribs were probably broken in real life. with that fall.
Probably so.
He was not acting.
And they finally get all the way to the very top again. They get to the helicopter. Jesse pushes Reed into the chopper. Jesse's like, wait, the remote, the detonators. And he runs off.
I was also thinking, like, why do you need that?
I know. I'm like, well, okay, fine.
Wasn't it on a timer?
I thought it was on a timer. Otherwise,
Anyway, some of the
it doesn't
details are
matter.
murky. Yeah,
it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
We needed Jesse to leave the chopper to go get detonators so that he could be face to face with the main T-Rex that we finally get to see.
And then we get like a 10-minute long T-Rex tractor battle
Yeah.
mirroring the first Carnosaur. Also, probably about 9 minutes too long.
About 9 minutes too long, and several scenes of Reed telling the evac team, we can't leave the kid. So we really get that Reed doesn't want to leave another kid behind.
We also watched Carnosaur 2 twice, and the second time we watched this final battle, I was like, okay, the battle's on. I actually need to go up and use the bathroom, and came back, and it was still going.
For at least 5 more minutes.
Yeah.
The helicopter pilot was Michael McDonald, who we all know as Little John from Halloween Kills.
I mean, I know him as Stuart from the Mad TV.
Or
Ooh, the connection to Carnosaur 1 with the Alfred E.
Exactly.
Newman.
We have
Yeah.
some mad connections. Also, he was the security guard that died in Austin Powers.
Oh, that's right.
Slow death by like
So yes,
steamroller.
great bit part by Michael McDonald.
Great
Probably
character actor.
early in his career.
But he played a good helicopter pilot. He did look panicked. He's like, we gotta go. This place is gonna blow. And he was shouting. I really got the sense that there was a loud chopper in the background. Finally, Jesse pushes T-Rex into the depths of the facility. T-Rex dies. Kind of sad. sad. We get one more shot of Reed yelling, "We can't leave the kid. Where's the kid?" And I'm thinking, weren't you watching?
Nah. They got bored because that T-Rex battle
went on too long.
Went on for so long.
They fly away from the base. The nukes go off. Big flash of light. They can't see, and everything's gone, decimated. But Reed and Jesse make it. So not as bleak as the first one.
I love that it ends on "It's gonna be all right." And then I said something. I was like, "They're gonna say it again. Watch." It's like, "It's gonna be all right,
kid." It's gonna be all right, kid.
Oh, it's gonna be all right, kid. I was like, I knew it. I knew they were gonna say that twice.
Yeah. So it's like, oh, Reed gets to save the kid that he couldn't save from his past, and Jesse gets his surrogate uncle back.
Yeah. And they fly off into the sunset. No dino eggs hatching in the post-credit scenes or anything like that. So,
but this scene is more similar to the end of Jurassic Park, where they fly off into the sunset. Everything is safe and sound, and yay. Yay.
Your thoughts on Carnosaur 2?
I always love a good ragtag team of people working towards a greater enemy, like aliens.
I think it can really save an otherwise lacking in plot type movie, because this is pretty basic. It's just like they go to some facility and then they're quickly stranded and they just need to get rescued. We think maybe all the dinos got blasted, but we don't know. They didn't complete any mission or anything like that. They just got out of there.
They didn't repair anything.
No, they just blew it all up.
They blew it all up. They actually made it worse.
Yeah,
and worse than when they got there. But I think what saves a movie like this is when you have your ragtag crew having strong character actor performances.
Yeah, it's like you have to have just a variety of characters. Like some are really badass, maybe some are cool hacker. You always have to have a cool hacker.
You need a cool hacker. You need someone who's kind of abrasive, maybe annoying at first, but has a heart of gold. And you need some cool boots and trench coats.
Yeah.
So I really think that the characters saved this movie and made it really fun to watch.
So not the dinos.
Honestly, the dinos are fun. The dinos are always fun, especially raptors. Love raptors.
What did you think of the dinosaurs in Carnosaur 2? Like, how did they compare to Carnosaur 1?
I do love that they differentiated between the T-Rex and the raptors. Like, nothing was growing, nothing was causing a virus. It was just getting back to basic dinosaurs. And we had the best ones. We have the raptors and the T-Rex. They are collaborating.
This one does seem a bit more of like, okay, now everybody has seen Jurassic Park and we have seen it. So now we're just going to skip all of that extra virus, genetic mutation, and military purging.
Which was cool for the first one, but I'm glad they scrapped it for this one.
And this one is more of the raptors. They actually function just like the xenomorphs in Alien, where they're crawling in the walls and you're not sure where they're at. And just when you think you're safe, they like crash through the ceiling or crash through a wall and grab someone.
You have your xenomorphs, you have your face huggers. So like, even in Alien and Aliens, you still have the two creatures that are a potential threat.
We saw more dino babies in Carnosaur 1, or maybe like that point of view dino vision.
Yeah, actually,
so you don't see as much of it in this one, I don't think.
Yeah, I don't remember seeing so much dino vision in Carnosaur 2.
But you do get that last final T-Rex battle, which just goes on and on and on.
It goes on. Kind of didn't want it as much. I was more interested in the raptor scenes more so than the T-Rex scene.
I agree. The raptor scenes were definitely good. I like that the raptors could really be anywhere at any moment and they'll get you even through a wall.
And I do like that they implement teamwork. I like it when things work together.
Yeah.
For good or bad. Carnosaur 2, not directed by Adam Simon. It is directed by Luis Murnau, who did Bats and Joyride 2.
We did see Bats. That was a fun one as well.
I like Bats. Yeah. All right. Should we do some awards for Carnosaur 2? It's very deserving.
Yes, let's get to some awards. Okay, did you prepare awards for Carnosaur 2?
Nothing.
Wow, usually you're very prepared. This time you're more on the fly.
Okay, no, the thing is I spent all my time writing the synopsis and researching and watching little YouTube videos. I was trying to, because we don't have the actual DVD, so we couldn't like listen to any commentary or featurette, so I had to find my own. And that distracted me from actually making my awards.
Okay, well, that's okay. You can think of it.
I know one award. I know my best intestines.
I think that one is probably the same one as mine. Yeah, I think that's pretty obvious.
So I'll say that one first, but you can say your acts first.
Okay. Actually, now that we've kind of gone through and talked through Carnosaur 2 again, I should have given my axe
Wait,
award
I know my axe.
to one thing.
I know what it is.
Aleece, what is your axe award for Carnosaur 2?
Okay, I want to significantly trim the T-Rex Bobcat battle. The final tractor versus T-Rex battle. I would like to take out like maybe like 2/3 of it.
That is a great axe award
That's
because
my
I
axe.
agree with that 100%. And I should have written that down, but I think when I was rewatching and when I was writing down my awards, I was just so annoyed by Cliff DeYoung's performance in this. So Cliff DeYoung, he was also in another movie that we really love, Dr. Giggles.
Yeah,
He's
the
been in a
dad.
lot. I just thought that his character was very annoying to me.
I thought he did a great job with what he had because he has to be kind of the secondary villain to the dinosaurs.
Yeah.
So I actually thought he did that well. And I appreciated that like in the writing, they made him come around quicker than I thought they would.
It didn't work for me because I kept finding myself like, this guy is extremely annoying. I don't believe him as a major. He just seemed like some regular dude. I am just going to axe Cliff DeYoung. I'm sorry.
Okay, well, I'm just going to tell Cliff DeYoung that I don't agree with that axe. That I thought he did great with what he was given.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe I was just agitated at the time. Maybe I wanted to see more Carnosaur carnage.
Yeah. I appreciate that they didn't make him responsible for anybody's death. Usually those characters are made even more annoying by being responsible for a character that you like dying.
Well, in a way, he's responsible for everyone's death because he's the one who brought them there.
It wasn't his fault. His higher ups made him go there. So
All
if
right,
anything,
fine.
he's like a lackey.
Well, thanks for making me feel bad about that.
Yeah.
I take it back. I do agree with yours, though, for sure.
Thank you. It made an otherwise like pretty solid B film go on a little bit too long, make you slightly annoyed at the end. And like, that's not the time that you want to be annoyed at a movie.
Yeah. Our next award goes to the best intestines. That is for the best, most tragic, or gut-wrenching death. Aleece, what gets your best intestine?
Should we say it together?
Should we say it together? 1, 2, 3. Rollins. That was pretty obvious. Her death scene was the clear winner.
Mm-hmm.
She had her arm ripped off and then had her stomach bitten out, ripped to shreds.
And no one even tried to save her. Just listening to her screaming. I would have liked if she could have like done a Moses move and try to box the dinosaur a little bit or fight a little bit. But overall, the death was pretty good and it was brutal. And I feel like in the 90s, they don't give these deaths. And I'm not to be like, oh, women need more deaths in film, but like they don't give these brutal deaths to female characters. They give them like a sad death or like oh, someone tried to save her and she died anyway death.
Like she fell down and now she's dead.
She got scratched in the face one time and now she's dead. No, she was totally torn apart and it was pretty cool.
Okay, our next award is our second kidney award. So what character is going to get your sequel, spinoff, or prequel? Or do you want me to go first?
You go first.
Okay, I will give my second kidney award to Monk, Moses, Rollins, and Reed. And they are the ragtag crew. I didn't mention their leader because I forgot his name when I was writing this down.
Oh, Kahane?
Kahane, yeah. he can go in there too. But basically, I want the crew of engineers. This is like maybe a prequel. They are on a mission. They don't really know what's going on. And they're all invited to this millionaire's house to watch over this little girl who happens to be a vampire. Yeah.
Ballerina vampire.
So they could do like a Dracula's daughter kind of thing.
That would be fun. Abigail retold or revamped with this ragtag repair crew. That's fun.
Yeah, I thought that could be fun. They've gone on some other messed up missions and survived. But they couldn't survive the Carnosaurs.
Couldn't survive the Carnosaurs. Reed, Kahane, Monk, Rollins, Moses, Galloway.
I don't think Galloway is part of their
She had the same
crew.
Uniform.
I thought that she was like more part of McQuaid's crew. She can definitely be in there. I definitely want Meat Hunter in more movies.
Yeah, and I did wonder that too on the second viewing. I was like, wait, but she has the same like little like electric bolt symbol on her jumpsuit.
So if I didn't think she was part of the same crew. I probably should have assumed that. But if she is, then she's in on this list.
Okay, all right. So I'm going to say that my second kidneys also go to Kahane, Monk, Reed, Rollins, Moses, and Galloway.
So you're just agreeing with me?
I'm going to agree with you because I like this ragtag crew. They were fun. I really liked Monk's. Okay, Monk's character annoyed me at first, but really grew on me. I would like to see him in that crew again.
Do you want to see him in Carnosaur 3?
I don't want to see his
His new
character in
character.
Carnosaur 3. I want to see his old character in Carnosaur 3.
Moving on to our next award, we have our first aid kit. So which character are you going to bring back?
I'm going to give it to Moses. It's fine that he died. He just died too soon. And I was pretty excited to see him when he came popping up in their little locker room and he was like sleeping there for some reason. I was like, what's his story? Why is he just sleeping there?
Maybe he gets like pulled out into the shaft by a dino. And then at the end, like when the evac
He's like,
crew is like,
hey.
I'm still here.
He has the flares. He's like, hey.
Yeah, that would be great.
I am not totally sold that he died. Not to spoil Aliens. Quick spoiler for Aliens. He got the Michael Biehn scenario where it's like he was just gone. And I kept expecting him to pop up. Moses just got pulled into the rafters. We didn't get to see him die. He didn't get a cool death. He got a cool fight scene. I'm not sold that he's dead. I mean, now he's dead because he's nuked. He got nuked.
He got nuked.
I give him my first aid kit.
I gave my first aid kit award to Galloway, Neath Hunter, and I wrote here, just because she's cool.
She is cool.
Actually, I wrote just because she cool, and I put cuz C-U-Z.
Cuz. And
That's
that
what I
is
wrote.
a very coolly written sentence.
And I stand by that.
She was cool. And I feel like Moses and Galloway, they were both killed pretty quickly within one another. They didn't get enough time to get developed as actors. They were going somewhere interesting with their characters.
Okay, moving on to our Silver Gut Award, formerly known as the Silver Spleen.
Well, it's because I made a category later on called the Spleen Stealer. Like that, I would give to Clint Howard in Carnosaur 1. He was definitely a spleen stealer.
Yeah.
He just stole the spleen scenes that he was in. So Silver Gut, though, what are you giving that?
My Silver Gut for Carnosaur 2 goes to the Carnosaurs. And I put, why not?
Why not?
They were not as cool as in Carnosaur 1, in my opinion. But anytime you see dinosaur action, it's like the highlight of the film, of this film, aside from the ragtag crew of characters.
Crew.
But the dinosaurs, that's why we're here. That's why we're watching this movie. They got the silver in this one.
Yeah, I'm going to give my silver to the raptors. I'm okay with not having the T-Rex. I mean, I kind of like the T-Rex for the final battle, and that's kind of cool. But overall, the team of raptors, like collaborating and organizing, setting off bombs, chewing on pipes, that was cool. So my silver gut also goes to the raptors.
Okay, and your gold gut, should we say this at the same time? Our golden gut award goes to the Ragtag
crew.
Team. Sorry, I jumped the gun, but I know you had the same thing.
Ragtag team.
The star of this movie is the crew.
Yeah.
Their interactions, their antics, and their personalities. Some of them developed a little more than others.
Yeah. Unfortunate, untimely deaths, but they were all fun.
And they all die.
They all died except for Reed.
Reed. Yeah.
Jesse doesn't count. Sorry, Jesse. I am curious if our YouTube requester at William Simmons, SFY, if that was the highlight of the movie for you. Did you enjoy the Ragtag Crew the most? Is that why you like Carnosaur 2? Anybody else who likes Carnosaur 2? What's your favorite aspect of Carnosaur 2?
Or is it just one of those movies that's so bad it's good and you just like laughing at it?
And it's fun.
We enjoyed Carnosaur 1, Carnosaur 2 for other reasons. We enjoyed it as well. I personally think that I lean towards Carnosaur 1 as the superior movie. Are you a fan of 1 or 2?
I don't know if I can pick, because I have that same conundrum with Alien versus Aliens. I do like them both a lot for different reasons. So I don't know if I can pick one over the other. For a while, Alien was probably higher ranking than Aliens. But, you know, we discussed in our 100th episode, our top lists are always changing. I don't know. I feel like they're pretty on par. So I feel the same way about Carnosaur versus Carnosaur 2.
Yeah. Okay. So what about Carnosaur 3? Unfortunately, we're not going to have enough time to really go in depth on this one, but just quickly, Carnosaur 3 is also free on YouTube. It basically is another military ragtag crew. This time they're soldiers, so they have guns.
We get Army and Marines joining forces. Ambiguous
mercenaries.
Eastern Europeans trying to steal uranium.
Instead of stealing uranium, they steal dinosaurs.
They accidentally knock over a dinosaur truck. And we did get a really cool villain in the beginning that had like little dark circle eyeglasses with an ambiguous Eastern European accent. And then when he finds out it's not uranium, that it's dinosaurs, like human-sized dinosaurs sleeping, cryogenically frozen, he starts screaming. He's like, what? There's no uranium. And of course they get chomped. The dinosaurs wake up and they all get chomped.
Yeah, there's like this long battle that seems like setting something up. It's a really long setup for like not a lot of payoff because it's just to tell us that there are dinosaurs instead of uranium. I don't know.
And it's very odd. So it's like at first the Euro stealers find the dinosaurs, they get pulled apart, and then the cops come onto the scene. They find one Euro dealer, they gag him and put him in the back of the police car. And we forget about him for a while. All the policemen get torn apart, and then the army comes in and they get torn apart. And that's where we get one of our army people gets slashed in the face and she's dead.
And we also have like this military lady who looks a lot like Barbara Crampton. She's like a top ranking government official who her mission is to capture the remaining Carnosaurs who have escaped. She needs to recover the government assets.
And in this sense, you can tell they're trying to get back to the first one by having the mad female scientist, but she's a lot less evil. She's the one explaining to them all things Carnosaur, and they're like, bet she's got a great ass. Like passing notes like little boys while she's trying to give her seminar. It's very awkward, and it has a lot more things that didn't age well.
Well, and the movie just becomes a plot of like they're trying to trap the dinos, and a lot of it doesn't make sense. They were like, we're going to lure them onto this boat and then take them off the coast and then freeze them, which seemed like a good plan. But then it was like, wait, were they like already on the boat?
We were very confused. It did seem like they were trying to do like a Jurassic Park 2 thing where they get the dinosaurs onto a boat and lead it out into the middle of the ocean. But we're waiting. They get to the boat and they're having a great time, yucking it up, wearing captain's hats. They depart. They leave port. I'm like, wait, they didn't wait for the dinosaurs to get on the boat. Turns out the dinosaurs were already on the boat.
Yeah.
And they were on a boat. So it's like under siege.
I don't want to talk about it too much more because I feel like
we're getting too deep into Carnosaur 3.
But I do want to mention, I wrote down a few WTF moments because this movie is full of them.
Is one of them the fact that there's a character played by Rick Dean that's not Monk?
That's definitely one of them. And 2, his character was kind of
he was lovable, grimy and but lovable. Cool, had cool combat boots and a trench coat.
Kind of funny. And this one, he was just obnoxious. I have 4 WTF moments. The first one came very early in the film with the Euro mercenaries, and he's about to kill a guy, and the guy's like, no. And then the Euro leader's like, yeah. And then he like blasts him with the bazooka or something like that. The second WTF.
The arm wrestling scene.
That was one of them, yes. The random arm wrestling scene that is intercut with explanation about the mission or something
I think the doctor's talking about Carnosaurs intercut with formerly known as Monk and Marine that he's trying to show. Army's better than Marines.
Totally unnecessary scene.
It's like she lets him win because she's actually left-handed. And then she winks at him and throws a blade at like some wall. So, yeah.
That definitely had me scratching my head. The other WTF moment was the random sound effects for screen wipes.
Oh, yeah.
And it happened just like a couple of times and then didn't happen ever again.
Yeah.
It's like a weird editing thing. I think you were saying like, did they give this to multiple editors?
I thought like maybe someone gave this to like their nephew that happened to be in like video editing in high school. And this was his scene. And I thought, this would have been cool if this was like the whole movie, but it was just like a scene or 2. Can I say the last one?
Yes.
I feel like I know what it is.
Yeah.
Okay. The whole movie happens, not spoiling the majority of the movie.
It doesn't matter. You don't need no spoiler warnings for this one.
Remember that guy, that Euro guy that they captured in the beginning?
No, they don't because they didn't see this.
Remember the Euro guy that they captured and they gagged him and put him in the back of the police car? And a policeman even said, why did you gag him? Michael McDonald from part 2 is a cop now. He's no longer flying a helicopter. He's a cop. And he gags this Euro guy and puts him in the back. And the other guy's like, why'd you gag him? He's like, I don't know. He's loud. Anyway, we all forgot about that guy, but we get a final scene. It's nighttime. This police car is still there at this dock. And the Euro guy is still in the back seat, gagged, and he's fallen asleep. But when he wakes up, boom, dinosaur wrapped into the face. Credits.
And the dinosaur comes from the opposite direction of what you would expect. Further being like a, huh?
Yeah, it's like, is he in the car?
Carnosaur 3 was relatively enjoyable to watch, just to laugh at it a little bit.
It was a lot more WTF than 1 and 2. 1 and 2, I feel like they were making sense to an extent. And you're like, okay, I can go along with this. But 3 had a bit too many unsavory lines, some characters that were pretty annoying, and too many scenarios where you're just like, why?
Things that just didn't make any damn sense at all.
Didn't even make sense in the realm of like B horror, like, okay, I'll give this a pass kind of a thing.
Is this Carnosaur trilogy going to get a Criterion Collection release? No.
Maybe.
No.
You never know.
Yeah, maybe Aleece will like lobby for that.
I'll lobby for that and to get the French poster of Carnosaur 2 slapped on there.
And there you go.
Because that was great.
I feel like this would be a great trilogy for a company like Umbrella to release. Severin, Arrow.
Let's get some Arrow copies out there.
Yeah.
What's the fourth one? It's called Raptor Island?
The fourth one is called Raptor. I think it's just called Raptor.
Because now I feel like I have to go watch it. That's the rest of my day. I have to go, guys, and watch Raptor.
Carnosaur 4 is the 2001 direct-to-video film called Raptor, an unofficial sequel to the Carnosaur trilogy.
Well, that's cool. Now I know what I'm doing this evening.
To conclude our epic Carnosaur trilogy chat, we need to give a couple more awards. We do a lot of awards. We just like giving things praises.
Praising things.
What would you give Carnosaur 1 through 3? Are these movies Twinkies, wines, or pumpkins? How did they age?
I would say Carnosaur 1 is definitely become a wine. I feel like it was probably not revered or liked as much at the time because it came out the same year as Jurassic Park. People were probably scoffing at it nonstop. But now I think people have come around and they can really appreciate the scrappiness and the monster effects. So I'm going to say a wine for sure.
I agree, because I think that it's people who are fans of the movie who sort of keep these things alive. And I would have never heard about it if I weren't listening to Cradle to the Grave podcast and Stephen Bissett really championing this film.
Yeah, thank you, Stephen.
And I am so glad that I have watched it and now watched the first 3 of the Carnosaur films. Haven't watched the unofficial 4th one yet. But
we will very soon. For Carnosaur 2, I would also say it's probably like a wine. I did not know there was a Carnosaur 2. Thank you to our YouTube watcher / listener, William Simmons. Thank you for requesting Carnosaur 2 because we would not have done this gut spill on the trilogy without that request. We love requests.
So you're giving it a wine?
Can I give it a wine?
I'll give it a wine. I was on the fence. I was about to give it a Twinkie. Carnosaur 3, I think it's a pumpkin me, unfortunately.
I'm sorry, Carnosaur 3.
Yeah. Maybe it was riding high on the Carnosaur wave.
The Carnosaur wave just fell flat, splatted like a pumpkin. And then some blockbuster ratings. So we have our staff pick, we have our main shelf, we have our dollar rental, or our bargain bin buy and keep, or our back alley dumpster.
For Carnosaur 1, I'm going to give that a staff pick. I loved it, especially for like low budget creature features. It's better than most of the really bad CGI shark movies and anaconda type movies that have come out. Carnosaur 2, I'm going to put on the main shelf. I didn't think it was as good as 1, but I still appreciate some things about it. Carnosaur 3, that one is going to be in my bargain bin. It should be seen just to like complete the Carnosaur series, the franchise. So if you're a completionist, you'll probably want to watch this. And you know what? I'm going to give you a discount on it. Take it off my hands for $1.
Yeah, just keep it. Bargain bin buy and keep.
Yeah. What about you?
So I would say that Carnosaurs 1 and 2, I'm going to lump together onto my staff pick. So if I want you to have like a 1 and 2 where you're like not sure which one's better than the other, it's going to be right there next to T1, T2, Aliens,
and Jurassic Park.
And Jurassic Park 1 and 2. Carnosaur 1 and 2 are going to be up there. And then Carnosaur 3, that's going in my bargain bin buy and keep, because I want someone to be excited when they find that in the bin. They're like, what, 25 cents? Cool.
Carnosaur 3.
I scored Carnosaur 3.
That would make out like a bandit, because let me tell you right now, on eBay, Carnosaur 3 Primal Species DVD is going for $94.99.
So thinking.
If someone found it for 25 cents, that would be a steal. They would probably like gasp a little bit and instantly buy it and put it on eBay. Aleece, any concluding thoughts for the Carnosaur trilogy? You have now watched them all Is there any lesson you've learned? Did it make it into your top 10 of creature features?
Oh, my top 10? Oh, like when we had our desert island creature features? I would need to sit down with that and reevaluate
Not
that.
sure yet.
I am not
but
sure.
What did you learn from the Carnosaur trilogy?
I learned, in the words of Dr. Jane Tiptree, human species is a disaster. So why not let dinosaurs rule the earth? And in the words of Doc, played by Raphael Sabarge, give the earth back to the dinosaurs. That's fantastic. Makes a great theme park.
I learned that if your daughter is making one of the best creature features of all time and possibly one of the best movies of all time, you should do Carnosaur.
You should do Carnosaur.
Just to be like, look what I'm doing.
She was forced to do Carnosaur. That was not her choice. You cannot fault Diane Ladd.
But I'm glad she did it.
I am too.
I loved it.
Thank you, Diane Ladd.
Yes.
And Siskel is as well. So he
Yes.
loved her performance.
Yes. I'm so glad that I was introduced to this trilogy. Enough said.
Enough said.
More dinosaurs.
Thank you, all you lovers of low budget horror. Keep it alive.
If you liked what you've heard or listened to, please give us a rating, give us a follow, subscribe. We
Suggest some more movies for us to review and cover.
We would love your suggestions.
We love suggestions.
Yes. Send us a direct message.
Send us your favorite dinosaur emoji. I think there's only 2. There's a T-Rex and a brontosaurus, but which one do you want to see a movie on? Killer brontosauruses.
Leave a comment. We respond to every comment.
We
So
do.
leave a comment. What did you think of Carnosaur 1, 2, or 3?
Do you love Carnosaur 3 and you feel like we didn't give it a fair shot?
They're all free on YouTube, so you
Yeah.
can watch them all right now.
Thank you for watching and or listening. This has been another episode of
Got it.